Well, this is such a beautiful evening. I figured, let me share it with you. So, I'm just walking back from Candy Park I watched the sun. The sun is still not set yet, but look at that beautiful clear sky. So, we're just walking back from Candy Park to the train station. So, I want to make this video because, talking about Verizon Fios, the problems I had. And the other two videos I made are gone. Alright, once this video goes up, the other two that I just uploaded are gone. Mainly because they were confusing, I wasn't making sense. And let me explain to you what's been going on with Verizon Fios in my area, at least. Last month, and I'm trying to be impartial, and because I know some people have had good experiences with Fios, some people have had bad experiences with Fios. Some people have had bad experiences with Optimum, some people have good experiences with Optimum. Alright, Alright, that's not good. That's not good. But we're talking about Fios here. So, last month, a technician was working on installing service in another unit in my building. Alright, and unfortunately, what wound up happening was the service wound up, when he was installing that service, he wound up disconnecting my service. Alright, and I want to clear this up because when this first happened, I uploaded some videos and I blamed the technician for it. And, maybe I shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. What happened was the wires got mixed up, and Verizon made me wait till the next day to get my service back. Alright, I had to send another technician because the technician that was working on that job couldn't fix it, or whatever. He said, you gotta file a ticket. This happened last month. Alright, so what happened was the other technician came the following day and said, well, the technician that was there before screwed up and, he disconnected your wire by mistake. Alright? It didn't take him that long to fix. He had to run some tests. Maybe it took an hour. Alright? Well, yesterday, after almost a month of not having an interruption, my service went out again. And when the service went out, everything went out. TV, phone, internet, whatever, all of it. Call Verizon, they had me run the tests again. And then they say, well, we'll send another technician. I wasn't happy that I had to wait again to the next day to get a technician to come to fix it. So a technician comes today, goes down to the big green box. I'm walking around because I want to see if there are any of those around here. I don't see any of them. He walks around to the big green box and says, all right, well, what wound up happening was your wire got cut, and the box where all the customers are connected to is basically a mess. Everything was mislabeled. Everything was mislabeled. A lot of the counts were mixed up. And he seemed very sorry about what happened. All right, so that's why I want to make this video, because I don't want to go after the why is it overgrown like this? But that's why I want to go over what happened, because it's not the technician's fault. Alright, it was a mistake. The management made a mistake. Alright? Yes, I'm disgusted with Fios. Yes, I'm thinking of switching to Optimum when my contract is over. However, I'm going to try to see if I can get a credit for the outage. If Verizon credits me, then I won't cancel my service. So if they give me a decent credit, I won't cancel it when my contract is up. Alright, let's see if they can own up to their mistake and credit me. Alright, for being out of service. So if you look at the sky, it's really beautiful. I want to show you this. So I'm getting credit now. This is the way I am sometimes. I get upset when things happen. Obviously, I get fed up, and I got to remember that I've had Fios for 7 or 8 years, and I've had very few problems during that time frame. It was only recently, only in the past couple of months. So let's see what happens. Let's see if they can give me credit There's a nice little field here too, by the way. Let me see if I can get a credit from them. And if I can get a credit from them and they can somehow try to make this right, then maybe I'll stick with them. You got to remember, switching is a big deal because you got to change your phone number, you got to change your email. It's a big thing. And I can't just toss 7 years of good service down the drain because of the past couple of months. I mean, that's maybe a little bit of an overreaction. So I know I've been reading some of the comments from my viewers about it. I have. And I appreciate them, you know. Some people have had, Samantha's had terrible experience with Optimum, and I know I did way back when. All right? I'm just upset because when there is a problem with their service, and there's a blue jay up in that tree over there. It's too dark, you're not going to be able to see him. I'm upset because when there's a problem with my service, they wait for the next day. Fix it when they should send somebody the same day. But there's nothing to say that Optimum isn't the same way. I don't know. You know? You just can't make hasty decisions, you know? You can't. I'm very sensitive again, obviously, about stuff. Too sensitive. So this is Burns Avenue here in Hicksville. Get to see that sunset again as soon as this Infinity passes. I have some luxury cars here too, look at that. Now it's nice and clear, but during the day there was a lot of clouds around. In fact, there's a Fios box coming up. I'll show you what one looks like. So you can see what, because I did a video I took down now of that horrible drawing I did that confused everybody. So let's explain to you what the issue is. So now that we're looking at some actual real utility poles instead of my crappy drawings, wires on the very top, those are 3-phase PSCG Long Island, probably 13 kV, something like that, distribution wires. But on the bottom, you'll see 2 wires. One of those is Optimum's wire, and one of those is Fios's wire. Now, Optimum's wire Optimum has fiber to a community, so there might be fiber going to this community, but then it goes to a node and it goes to coax. All right, and that it's a simpler setup because there's not as many wires. All right, it goes into coax, and then people basically have these amplifiers on the line. See, there's some amplifiers right there that distribute this. Sometimes they boost the signal. You know, they're little amplifiers basically, but it's a simpler setup because basically somebody gets the service, they just have a coax run to their home and into the main coax. All right, it's not. But with Fios, because Fios is a fiber to the home, the wire has to go all the way to the home to the nearest fiber junction box. And we have one of these fiber junction boxes coming up, I believe. Might be wrong. All right, this looks like one on this pole right here, and there aren't a whole lot of them. And so the problem is, with Fios, you have many different wires that go to the junction box. All right, this is it right here, all right? This is better than my crappy drawing I made earlier. So you have many different wires that go into that junction box over there, all right? And there's this junction box from where I live is about, I would say 300 or 400 feet away from where I live, all right? So they have to run all these many fiber cables into that junction box, all right? So what wound up happening was everything got mislabeled, and they didn't know what was what. And that's why I kept getting disconnected. The guy said it straightened out. He said he relabeled everything. So it shouldn't happen again, and hopefully it doesn't. If it does, well, you know, and then I'm going to be having it, right? Usually I like to have a 3 strikes in your out rule. Verizon has 2 strikes right now, all right? So that's your junction box over there. I think that's one of them, all right? With cable, you don't have that. There's another junction box. Is that another one coming up over there? Maybe another one on that one. That one might be cables. We'll see. We'll walk past it and we'll see, all right? Poles here, all right? And not all of these poles are owned by PSCG. Some are owned by Verizon. So here's another junction box. This one might be cables. All right, this silver one here. I think the green ones are Fios, and the silver ones are Optimums. This is Optimum's box. So that's just an amplifier and a bunch of splitters. All right, basically. It's a simpler setup, but the downside with the Optimum setup is that you're sharing the network with everybody. With the Fios, you have your own dedicated line, so you're not sharing it. So when there's a busy time, like this is optimum right here, you can see how old that looks. It don't look great at all. That's an optimum one, I'm pretty sure. All right, that's the issue, is you're gonna have slowdowns in your service when there's a lot of people using the internet, like at certain, like in evenings, for instance. All right, it might be slower. With Fios, you're gonna have a more consistent speed. So that's the plus of Fios. Fios is more complicated, but at the same time, it is more reliable when it works. When it don't work, you know it's hell, and it sucks. But I figured I'd make this little explanation for you to understand and catch this light. So you have two different types of technology, basically. One that's for fiber, and the one for Optimum. You know, and each one has its pluses and minuses. So I have, you know, if Fios can make this right, I'm not going to make a hasty decision and cancel them. All right, after 7 years of good service, just because of a month or two. All right. However, if this kind of problems continue, then that's another story, and then I'm going to have to cancel my service and switch to Optimum. The Fios prices keep going up, but Optimum isn't that much cheaper either. Everything goes up because, you know, everything goes up. The fare goes up. It's not just, everything goes up in price. Get ready to pay more. Everything goes up. Nothing ever goes down. That's just the way it is. You know? But anyway, that will wrap up this video here in Hicksville as I explained to you how these two systems work. Hopefully I did a better job this time. I just don't want to confuse anyone. That's all. So, that does conclude this video here in Hicksville, right by the United States Post Office. Actually, I guess I could end it at the train station, so we'll do that. Alright, approaching the Hicksville station now. Just show you the dusk. It's a beautiful dusk. I love when you have a nice clear sky like that. It's beautiful. I'm enjoying the dry air because humidity is going to come up by Sunday, and it's going to be humid for a long time to come, which is going to suck. It really is going to suck. Of course, I won't be outside when the humidity is around because I just can't take it. So that's why I figured, let me go out for a walk today. It wasn't for the clouds. I could have still gone to the Pine Barrens. Like I said, it took the Verizon technician over 2 hours because he had to run a new wire and he had to label everything correctly, and it takes time, you know. Yeah, look at that beautiful dusk right there. Yeah, that's nice. Let's get upstairs and take a look at it. It'll look even nicer. Alright, so we're getting close to the train station now, and then I'll wrap up this video. I figured, why not just wrap it up at the train station already? They put these new signs in though. But they're not the same kind of signs that they got in Belmore. They only show 4 trains. They're not like big long signs. So I mean, they just didn't do this station right. It just looks, there's no artwork. It's very Spartan looking. You know the way I feel about it. Big improvement over what it was, but not what it could have been. There you go, I bring you the dusk, and it looks like there's some haze off to the west. So, yeah, the sky, you see the sky look like this, and you see the haze off to the west, which means it's probably going to have some, tomorrow's going to be junky, I know it. You can see it's just very Spartan looking here. Very Spartan. But anyway, I have about 8 minutes before my train comes. Oh, and there's a problem. The service to the Hamptons is suspended because a vehicle hit a car. Just talking to my colleague Matt about that. I think it happened at Mastic Shirley. But see, you don't get the tables. You don't get the tables here. And for your USB, all you have is that one outlet right there, and that's it. That's it. That's all you get. You don't get. We should have had the tables. We should have had the tile work. We should have had the grand USB charging ports. Instead, we get the cheapest materials possible. I mean, come on, it doesn't take, you know, there's no reason why this shouldn't have been designed the same way as Belmore and Merrick. Alright, so we're back. Nope, it's not good. Alright, so that's going to be the last part of this video. Again, you know, it's just Spartan looking. You don't get the You compare it to what they have in the Belmore and Merrick. It's just Spartan looking. They should have put those nice tables in and all that other stuff. They should have done that, but they just didn't do that. There's just no reason for it, other than just them discriminating. I mean, they could still put them in. I still think they should. They could fix this up. This just looks too plain. It's going to get marked up with all the white. It's just not going to look good. So I guess that wraps it up from here in Hicksville. So my train's coming in about 5 minutes. So yeah, say goodbye to the dry air, because the dirty air is coming. You can see it down there. Dirty air is coming. One more day tomorrow where it'll be somewhat okay, but the humidity's coming, so that will wrap up this video. And again, if you're thinking about getting Verizon Fios, just beware that it is a complicated technology. But when it works, it does work well. And if you've been lucky, consider yourself fortunate. Like I said, I have for 7 years. And hopefully this is just a bump in the road, and I really don't want to cancel my service, but if I have to, if this happens again, obviously I will. Well, it's up to Verizon to make it right. Hopefully they will. It's not, I just don't want to have any rash reactions here, to this, So that's it. Take care. Have a good night.